You're watching Drakewing Gaming. Enjoy the video.
Hey guys and gals, now we're here from Drakewing Gaming. It's something on Twitter, the Gaming Dragon. Today I'm coming back at you with a Let's Play episode of Far Beyond the World. So let's go ahead and jump right back in, shall we all? Alarm-chan, you are up, and let's go! Alright, bath time. Come on, it's not like it's anything you haven't seen. I know, it's just... He cuts off, looking around in distress and sighing. I don't know. It felt wrong. You can leave if you like. I can fetch you once I'm done. I shrug, and the male looks to me at first in shock, and then in deference. Oh, yes, perhaps that would be best. He reluctantly gets up and sluggishly approaches the door. If he tries to hide his sorrow, he does a poor job of it, as both his ears and tail are tucked, and I release an exasperated sigh. Do you want to leave? Do you want me to? Seriously? We're still doing this? Will he, won't he crap? I splay my arms in mild frustration, splashing some water around. You're angry with me. Of course I'm fucking angry. Furious would be the word I'd use, but at the same time, we don't need to act like we just met. That's just insulting. I didn't mean to insult. I meant for both of us. I cut him off yet again, taking a deep breath and trying to come across as genuine as possibly could, given the circumstance. You might be a dickhead, but we did things together, and we do find each other attractive. Why pretend like the last 2 weeks didn't happen? I just don't know what to do. This is all very new to me. Not leaving me alone in this shithole would be a fine start. I roll my eyes. But since we can't have that, might at least act natural around each other in those last few moments together. The wolf nods and returns to the bed while I splay myself in the water. As I rest against the top of the tub, a sharp pain shoots down my spine, and I groan. Ugh, fuck! My back is killing me! I issue a strained complaint while trying to rub my shoulder out. Seeing this, the wolf perks up, and without any hesitation steps forward with a soft smile. Would you like me to give you a massage? He mutters awkwardly, quickly realizing how it sounded and correcting himself. As a tit for tat, of course. You gave me one after all. At first I am taken aback by the proposal and almost refuse, only to realize that despite my anger, my body could really use a rub-down. It's really a win-win. Sure, that sounds nice. I concede through a nod. Employee or not, what I got to lose? He's not gonna super abandon me, now is he? And this way, at least I'm getting massage out of this. He takes off his sword and pauldron, which, to be fair, I was surprised he was still carrying around. I took the first moment possible to ditch my burden, because it shows how self-disciplined he really is. The wolf takes a slow U-bend around the bath and places himself behind me. I lean forward in anticipation of his paws making contact. His touch is firm but measured as he applies pressure where needed and kneads my muscles like a stubborn sourdough. Ooh, damn, that feels good. I moan, and I can hear I've drawn happy taps of his tail at the compliment. He continues working on my back, slowly softening the tense tendons, and I feel at least a week younger, which in my case is nearly half my lifespan. Deciding to carry on with my indulgence, I look towards the copper pot steaming at the brazier and bop my head towards the wolf. Would you pass me a cup of that tea, or whatever she called it? To Zane. He corrects me while fetching a mug and filling it up with a hot beverage. Tea would involve actual tea. Even I know that. Imagine that, a knowledgeable savage. I flash my brows coyly as he passes me the drink, and a sharp pinch to my upper trapezoid causes me to yelp. I mean, you did kind of ask for that. Oh, okay, point taken. I laugh, taking a conciliatory sip of the tisane. There's a curious flavor to it. There's a hint of sweetness from the hyacinth, but above all, it tastes like a thin vegetable stock with a slight spice to it. It is pretty good and complements the bathing experience a ton, especially accompanied by the now resumed massage. Ranok hits the spot every time, like a marksman owning in on a target, striking each strained muscle with great precision. You sure know what you're doing. Your skin bruised a little, he mutters with worry, trailing stinging marks left by the backpack, but I dismiss him with a wave of my hand. It's nothing. It'll heal. I've been stabbed, remember? I snort, the wolf murmurs uncomfortably. Yeah. My feet are blistered, though. I would need a pair of proper shoes. We can look for those at the market tomorrow. I'll make sure you have everything you need before. Let's not ruin the moment. I cut him off, despite the kind offer. Okay. I don't want to be reminded of tomorrow. We're here and now. I allow him to pamper me for some time, but eventually we change places. Oh, that looks nice. To my surprise, he's not too fussy about the temperature. Though it's been a while, the water is still very much steaming. Once I dry myself out and manage to dress up somewhat presentably, I decide to return the favor and ease his strained musculature. At first, he protests in embarrassment, but I'm having none of it. If it were up to me, we'd be the ones tumbling across the room and making a glorious ruckus for all to hear. But I would not do that to either of us. It would make this whole morbid affair even more painful come the morrow. Despite his earlier complaints, the wolf seems to enjoy himself quite a bit, with his fur soaking up all the perfumed water and making him smell fairly pleasant. Ugh, if any of the wolves back home ever found out... Oh, hush, I can see you're enjoying it. That's what I mean. If any of the wolves found out, I'd be the next one Verissa brings a dress. I snorted on his little joke and splashed some water teasingly on his muzzle, causing him to sneeze. At first, I continued to rub his muscles calmly and collectedly, but it quickly becomes self-serving. It might be the last time I get to feel him up, so I let my hands wander wherever they may, and the wolf loves it. I'm really sorry. He speaks up with a solemn voice and looks back towards the window. I know you don't want to believe it nor hear it, but I am. I know. I concede through a deep sigh. I'm more angry with the circumstance than with you. I still don't agree with your logic, but I also won't be forcing your paw. I'm no Tano. No, you aren't. You're much more mature than he ever was. Second water time. Alright, guys and gals, and we are back. Okay. The wolf smiles softly, placing his paw on top of my hand and stopping the massage for a brief moment. Still, it's Tano we're talking about. The bar wasn't set high. You're childish enough at times. And he ruins the moment in a clumsy attempt at levity, forcing me to give him a stern look. It's not funny, not for me. You've made a promise. Look, I wasn't planning on just abandoning you, alright? He splays his paws in protest, splattering some of the water. You didn't even let me tell you the whole plan. Plan? I scoff, taking a begrudging sip of the tisane. What's the plan here, exactly? I just want you out of harm's way, that's all. The turmoil in Tyranid is precisely something I don't want you involved in. But once things calm down and this whole Howl mess is resolved, one way or another, I do intend to undertake those travels I told you about. Despite a slight shift in his tone, the wolf struggles to sound sincere, his body language betraying the actual depth of his own doubt. His ears, for one, are splayed back ever so slightly, and the tail remains motionless, even at the mentioned prospects of fulfilling his puphood dreams. Hollow words, meant as an encouragement, as the future he presents is one he doesn't quite believe himself. I would have come back for you, he insists, sensing my distrust, and I nod softly. I know. I concede, resuming the massage. That part was never in question. Of that, I am certain. What I'm not certain of is that you would be able to. Look, here in Strandbard you will be safe and thriving. We could do all the things we promised ourselves if you just stay here, because we cannot do them if you're dead. You underestimate me. My voice takes on a more assertive tone, and I squeeze harder on his bicep, but the wolf only rolls his eyes. Huh. Hey. Okay. And you're overestimating yourself. You're a naive, helpless halfling, neither a pup nor a man. You can't even swing a sword. So, the world isn't made only of burly warriors like you. You are a walking target in a forest full of trained killers. So are you! Ah, oh, I definitely cannot show that. I splashed some water right into his muzzle, causing him to blink uncomfortably. You talk about me as if I'm a murder waiting to happen, but you aren't exactly invincible yourself. Your father was nearly taken out with a javelin. All it takes is a well-aimed arrow, so the size and combat prowess don't really matter much, do they? You have an answer for everything, don't you? He smacks his lips impatiently and shifts away in the tub, resting his paws against his knees. He's retracting like he usually does when a conversation isn't going his way. Ranok always did that with Verissa, and he did it with me on a few occasions, so I'm having none of it. Why can't you understand that you would be safer here than in Tiernan? I can't guarantee your safety anymore. Here, you can live in comfort until I return. If you return! Even so, how long would that take? A year? I propose mockingly, and the wolf shrugs. Maybe. It very well could, but this is the best option we have. I cannot risk your life on a whim. But you aren't risking it. If you truly believe that I am not your property, then you have to concede that I have the right to make my own decisions, that I have my own agency here. Bringing you back to Tiernan would be a mistake. Then it's my own mistake to make, I reiterate, kneeling beside him and meeting his determined expression with equal zeal. You don't know the future. You cannot be certain of your own, let alone dictate mine. And if you want to talk about mistakes, leaving me here would be more idiotic than bringing me back. And why is that? Because you're playing right into Aldris's paw. I don't know if she pretends to be dumb or simply is dumb, but us doing what she accused you of wouldn't hurt her case, but rather strengthen it. My assessment catches him by surprise, and his ears shoot up. You're right. My position is enormously privileged. I've seen the wolves who were banished here for lesser crimes. I've heard the price outer packs have paid for my trespass. Me being let go scot-free would be an insult to all and cause resentment and all sorts of conspiracies. I splay my hands for emphasis, and he sits back, resting against the tub and slightly more relaxed. He narrows his eyes and listens to me intently. Such as? The main one. That your father was in on all of this, and that it was some sort of political stunt people are yet to understand. You must see that the only way to save your father's seat is transparency. If you start muddling and omitting stuff, this will give Aldous everything she needs to steer the Howl her way. The wolf rubs his chin uncomfortably, trailing his paw all the way to the back of his head and sighs. If I brought you back, she would use you against me. How? I ask impatiently. She can't question me. I'm a dumb ape, remember? And it's not like my disappearance would disprove my existence in the first place. Alright, y'all, I'm actually going to pause it right there. Thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and that notification bell. I love you all, and thank you to all of our lovely, wonderful patrons, every last one of you. Anyway, I love you all, and I shall see you all in the next video. Bye-bye!